The round 10 preview is here, and this is one of our best yet. What are you looking forward to in this one, Leo?
We've got Bazzano versus Hornet. Two emotional men going at it. How bloody good. Marcus?
Oh, that's cute. But mark my words, West Coast will grab their first win of the season on Sunday.
Wowee. Check out the show right now. Welcome back to the AFL Today Show. Your preview is here for round 10. I'm your host, Liam McAllion, also known as the Stats Guy. He's been excited. He's ready to go for the show. He's fired up. He's actually smiling. Liam Mullaly in the corner. How you going?
Good. I just didn't want to smile there for a second. I'm like a Jack Russell on a walk, just itching to go.
That is a beautiful little thing there. And we've also got Marcus Bazzano. He is often confused by what Liam Mullaly says. How you going, Marcus?
I am very confused by what Liam Mullaly says. But I'm going very well. I'm excited for this week of footy. There's some cracking games.
Cracking game. Can it be better than last round, lads? Because last round was the best round ever.
Impossible.
Ooh. Impossible?
I think it could be.
It could be.
Ooh,
quality of games. Quality
Not Sunday.
quantity.
Spoiler alert. Sunday's games.
We said that
great
last
reading,
Sunday.
But I think there could be some crackers.
Yeah, absolutely. Another awesome show. We're going to delve in through all the matchups, tips, stats, debates. We've got the locks and big calls. I believe we got all of our locks, which is very rare that we get some
hope
things.
so that we got the locks right.
I know, but we don't always get things right on the show. We often do, but then we've got the big calls as well. Marcus and I need to step up to the plate with the big calls.
Yes.
Leo's got a big call before,
Yes.
so do we think this is the week where we start the trajectory on the big calls?
Well, for me, yeah.
Just for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see what happens there. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's AFL Today Show. Hit the subscribe button, the notifications bell as well. It goes a really long way. Follow AFL Today AU across all the socials. That's X, TikTok, and Instagram. And on Facebook, it's actually Aussie Rules Today. And that includes, we're going to be doing a lot of social posts, which include Nah Beers, our social post. The Nah question actually relates to a bit of final stuff, Leo, that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, stay tuned for that one. I don't want to give too much away, but finals related.
Finals related. So make sure you get in the comments because we're doing giveaways most weeks with a hat, a t-shirt, some 4-pack of beers, and they're absolutely beautiful, the Nah Beers. All right, and of course, get around them on all the podcast platforms. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get a podcast. Let's get right into it. Not mucking around. Let's get into the previews, lads. The round 10 previews are here. Thursday night footy. Here we go. Thursday night, Gold Coast versus Hawthorn, TIO Stadium. They're calling them the Darwin Suns, the Darwin Crocs, whatever you want to call them. The Gold Coast Crocs. They should be playing every game there, and this is Marcus's game.
Yeah, well, boys, have Gold Coast turned a corner? Have they done it? Was that victory against the Western Bulldogs? Do we believe in them now? Do we believe? Can they play finals for the first time in the club's history?
Well,
16 years.
I think they can make finals, but I don't know if they've turned the corner. Does that make sense?
I think making finals is turning the corner.
But was the result against the Dogs them turning the corner?
I don't know. It's a weird one. I feel like they did enough, but the Dogs sort of kept asking the challenge, and maybe if it was played in Gold Coast, they would have lost that.
Well,
just saying.
They do have a great record in Darwin. Thank you
do.
for bringing that up.
Oh,
They've won the last 7 at TIO Stadium. So
it's a fortress.
The Hawks will have a job to do on their
will.
hands. And let's be honest, like as a Hawthorn supporter, you've said this, they haven't been great since Gather Round.
Yeah,
but he's the most-
Gather Round cursed us.
He's the most pessimistic Hawks fan I've ever met.
No, I'm not. I'm pretty pessimistic.
Pessimistic. Not optimistic, just pessimistic.
I'm pretty pessimistic. No, you know what
well,
they
are you
say, 8 times a charm, right? Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, are you still optimistic with the news of the Hawks outs?
Yes.
The possible outs. You got
A lot of outs.
Lloyd Meek. You want to talk about them? Possibly Lloyd Meek and Jack Gunston could be managed.
Impey won't be playing because I think he's expecting a child this week.
Oh, there you
that's
go.
fair enough. That's pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Bruce copped a knock. He won't play. Expecting Barras to be back. I think Deere, McKenzie and Scrimshaw are leaning towards coming back in as well. But we'll see with the teams coming out tonight. For those who don't know, filming on a Wednesday. So, yeah, a lot of changes going on. I think it's the right move because it's a 5-day break, which we'll talk about a bit more. In these hot conditions, I think it's the right call. I don't know if it'll change the outcome.
But it can be done, though.
Can
Collingwood,
be done.
for the first time this season, the first club to win off a 5-day break. So it can be done, but
I think Collingwood have more depth than just power overall. Like, Gunston has been their best goal kicker.
He's third in the Coleman.
I just want to ask, he's third in the Coleman. I want to ask you guys, who the hell is kicking Hawks goals this week? Is Charles going to step up in the greasy conditions? I don't know about that one.
This is where I feel like it's going to be a Guinea legacy game.
Oh, here we
This is
go.
where he's got to kick. He's got to hit the scoreboard.
I reckon Ned Reeves. For 2. I'm obviously kidding. He's
Ned
not gonna-
Reeves.
He'll come in. I have a feeling Witts will get managed as well for the Suns. That's just a gut feeling, and they'll play.
Ned Moyle.
We'll get a run.
Ned
That's
Moyle's a
my
beast.
feeling. 5-day break for them as well.
Friend of the show.
Is it? Wait. Yeah, 5-day break. Yeah. Good maths.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you do play against, I know you got 3 wins in your last 3 games, obviously against West Coast, Richmond, and Melbourne. But if you play like that, it probably won't.
Yeah,
pretty
the
reading.
Melbourne game wasn't overly impressive for the first 3 quarters.
But you still smashed them. I think you're being a bit harsh. Like
I don't think
I think it was paper over the cracks.
Well,
They
not
kicked a lot of goals
smashing.
late. It was like a 30-1 last quarter.
I think they're just sort of lift for the bigger team. It's like
Yeah.
the Brisbane Lions. They're
Okay.
lifting for the bigger teams. It's early in the season. You get that with the teams that are going to be successful. The Hawks were pretty successful last year. I don't know if there's as much to worry about as some Hawks fans like yourself are saying, Matt.
We'll find out a lot about them over the next month. But they got such
Yes,
like a
100%.
they got such a youthful energy about them. Like it's so good. This is the type of game that they could go out and win
Yeah.
at the same time.
I think maybe the pace of the game, it'll be a bit faster, could play into the ball movement, but at the same time, Suns are just better at that in Darwin.
Well, yeah, because of that.
So-
On that is Daniel Rioli. He averages 20 disposals and a goal in Darwin. He's played
he's
a
the
couple
main
of-
driver of that fast ball movement.
He's
isn't
so
he?
good. And then you've talked up John Noble. And then you got Ben King is one of the only players that can go up to Darwin and take just really good marks in the greasy conditions. I think he kicked 3 goals 3 last week. Should have been a bit straighter. But the fact that he was holding on to marks and all the other players are slipping around everywhere, unbelievable.
Is he going to be the Coleman Medal winner?
Gunston.
Nah. Jack. I really want Jack Higgins, but
Jack Higgins.
I think
That's not
I'm
gonna happen,
going to say Jesse Hogan. He can come back.
Yeah,
and kick.
Hogan or King for mine.
Yeah. All right. Tips and margin, lads. Let's just get right into that. Unless you got anything else to say, we're all good.
Nah, all good, mate.
All good. You're a bit worried as a Hawks fan, probably.
Always worried, mate.
Always worried.
How I
Let's
live
get the
my
tips
life.
and find out.
Yeah, tips. I'll start with you, Leo. What's your tip?
Suns by 32. I think
Oh!
it'll be.
That's a big margin for your boys.
We had some stats to back it up, I
Well, I
guess.
feel like someone else here has a bigger margin just to have a little spoiler there. But just think conditions, they love it. High scoring game. Get around it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marcus?
I'm just going to ride the back of the Suns' great record in Darwin. I'm going to go 22 points.
Sorry, the reaction wasn't there. I'm actually going to go more than Leo. I'm going to go Suns by 37.
What?
I think
That is wild.
no, it's not that wild. They're massive. Gunston is a huge out. I don't see goals coming. I know that the Smalls can have chip in for 2. I don't think Guinea and Watson are more than 2 goals in this game because the Suns have a pretty good defense. And then I think Meek's a pretty big out too. Reeves is nowhere near the level as Lloyd Meek. So if Witsy does play, he will absolutely dominate. And I still rate Ned Moyle as a really good backup, as we all do.
Yeah,
on the show.
100%. We love
So
him.
I'm going to go Suns by 37. They're going to win 8 in a row and do it pretty comfortably up in Darwin. All right. Friday night, Sydney versus Carlton. Our executive producer, Spence, is actually going to this game, 7:40 at the SCG, the beautiful SCG. Leo, this is your one.
This is my one. The first thing we need to know about this game, and I'll credit, was it you, Marcus, who gave me this stat? Sydney have won 20 of their last 22 at the SCG against Carlton.
That's a lot.
I'm no mathematician, but that's pretty good.
Aren't you? You can
No,
just
I'm
say the
not.
words. I don't think you are.
Yeah, I did stumble a little bit. I think a big talking point in this game is Carlton's forward line. Curnow and Mackay finding a bit of form. Mackay played his best game in a while.
I think the last 2
week.
weeks has been really good.
Curnow, obviously, I think, has been a lot better. Can the Sydney backline, this is going to be interesting for me and how they shape up. That you got Tom McCartan down there. He's going to be the key one. But do they send Hamling back? Or is Rampy going to step up? He's going to be undersized if he has to step up on either opponent. So that's going to be a key in this game because Sydney could play better around the ground. But if Carlton just say, let's kick it to Harry and Charlie, that could just give them, a 5-goal head start right there.
Yeah, it comes down to the lower in the eyes. When Carlton are hitting the targets a little bit lower, and if they can hit their targets here, they're going to kick a much bigger score than Sydney can, I reckon. Because Malikan, as Alex on this show has mentioned before, he's a beast. He's a really good one-on-one player, and he's out. So it's a huge out. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's sort of my worry for Sydney on this one. But on the flip side, we've heard there could be some wet weather involved in this one. Who do we think that suits?
Oh, I think it definitely favours Sydney. With the tall forwards of Mackay and Curnow, you look at the way Carlton play, they're always looking for that outlet on the wing, which is normally probably Harry. And then obviously Charlie Curnow is the main target. And both of those forwards, they're their main targets inside 50. It's just whether the likes, when it gets to the ground, the likes of Durden, Motlop can clean up inside forward 50.
Yeah, this is the type of game where we've a few people in our office and on our show said Durden's had moments. If it's wet, he needs to step up and kick 3, I'd say.
I think Motlop as well.
And Motlop as well,
for sure.
Yeah.
And we've heard that Callum Mills is a test as well.
Ooh.
So I think if he's back, that kind of helps to those wet weather conditions because I think he plays really well in those sort of gritty conditions. He'll be another mid-rotation, probably shore up the back line a bit, which is just sort of a bit more leadership and voice they can have down there, which will definitely help out if he were to play. But if we're talking wet weather conditions and we're talking someone who has been in career best form, all Australian form, Stats Guy, there's one guy you've got here who he's just been in insane form.
Yeah, and he used to play for Sydney as well, of course.
True,
so
yes.
George Hewett, he's had 33 plus disposals in 3 of his last 4 interstate games. Usually guys, when they travel, they play better at home. He's been playing better away. He has been unbelievable. He's all Australian form, which I'd say no one would have picked at the start of the season. He's a good player, but he's turned into their best player this season, and he's been awesome.
Yeah, and wet weather suits him as well. So if you need someone to rely on to get disposals, it'll definitely be him because in Sydney they're expecting 100 mils over the week. This week.
That's a lot of
so
mils.
it's going to be a lot of rain pretty much every
And
day.
they're expecting Callum Mills back possibly. There we go.
That's a great one.
There we go.
That's good.
I really enjoyed that.
When I'm getting approval from Leo, that means it's bad. But
Leo is the dad joke king.
But he liked that one.
Around
He
the
liked
office.
that
That was
one.
good.
that one.
Yeah, what else do we think? Should we get into tips and margin?
I think we should get to the tips.
All right, tips. I'll go with you first, Marcus.
I think because it's wet, and I think a little bit of the home ground advantage, and obviously the record that you mentioned before, Sydney will win this, and they'll win this by 3 goals.
Oh,
There we go.
yeah, we're just doing all of
Every
everything.
game.
Yeah, what do you think, Leo?
Swans by 24. I think they'll just manage a way to overcome Kerner and Mackay.
Oh, if it's wet like we're talking about, I think it's going to be really low scoring. So I'm going to go Swans by 6 points. I think it's going to be a bit of a thriller at the SCG where it's really scrappy, and some of those big forwards won't have as much impact as we thought. So I'm going to say 6 points to Sydney. They've got a good record against them at SCG, as we talked about.
And just quietly to end on, this is actually a really huge game for like both these teams going forward because they're both out of the 8. Both need to start have this win and go from there with a big strong month coming up.
Good call. Good call. Yeah, if one of these teams or both want to make finals, they have to win this game. 100%. Do we agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good call. All right, Saturday footy. Here we go. This is my game. Collingwood versus Adelaide. Saturday, 1:20 at the MCG. Now, this has been one of the blockbuster matchups of the last, I'd say, 4 years. They've been unbelievable, these two playing against each other. Really close margins in the last 4 meetings. I'll go through it. It's 4 points, 2 points, 1 point, and 5 points in the last 4 meetings.
That's my tax file number.
There we go. How did you think of that? That is so weird. But the last 4 meetings have been absolute thrillers, and Collingwood have actually won the last 9 meetings against Adelaide. So
that's a crazy record. That's
crazy.
That's like Kennett Curse.
It's a weird record, but Adelaide have played really well against the Pies, even when the Pies won the flag. But they just don't know how to get over the line against them.
There's also the controversial moments in these fixtures, even with those close margins. So they're great. They're great games.
There is. They were robbed right in front of me. Right in front of me. We might have to get that little clip up. But a lot of Crows fans would be filthy the last couple of times, last couple of years against the Pies at the MCG specifically. So you had Dawson getting smashed in the face as he went for a mark. I think there was a minute left. It would have been about 25, 30 metres out, and he got hit across the face. No free kick, and the Crows could have kicked the goal.
I don't know if I remember that one.
Are the Crows the worst side at copying decisions not going their way?
100%.
Are they targeted?
No, they're not.
Are they targeted?
If you're saying 100%, then that means you think they're targeted.
No, I'm just saying it's bad luck. There's such a thing as bad luck.
No, I just think it's umpires are evenly bad to every side. No one's a victim.
No, but the Crows have were hard done by against Sydney when they didn't make finals. They were hard done by twice. So Rankin running too far. I agree with that one.
He ran too far though.
I agree with that one. Then you got Dawson getting smashed. You've got Sam Draper laying on the ball like a spoon.
Yeah, but Essendon also kicked 20 points in that game. Anyway, we're getting off track.
All I'm saying is they were robbed, Leo. They were robbed. They'll be really fired up here because this is probably the best chance. I know they've had really close games, but this is the best chance Adelaide have at beating him in terms of the forwards. So we've got Darcy Moore is suspected to be out this week. I don't know if
I think it's confirmed. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So the fact that we talked about last week, the big thing why Adelaide won last week was because Port Adelaide didn't have the big big backline.
Yep.
I think it was you talked about. Marcus,
Yeah, they were probably just lacking another tall defender. And if Darcy Moore's out, Thriller, Fogg, and Walker will just have a field day.
Yeah. Quayner's going to have to play on Walker at some stage, or Fogarty, and that Quayner's a great defender,
but he's
size-wise.
Yeah, so that's a worry. So you got 3 of the top 8 goal kickers in the league. All right, like Thriller, Tex, and Fogarty are literally in the top 8 goal kickers in the league. They've been unbelievable. They're going to kick 100 points most games. Do we think the Pies backline can hold that down at all? That's the only part I'm worried about for Collingwood.
Yeah, I think that's the threat in this one for Collingwood. Like, if Adelaide can generate enough ball movement from clearance, from general play, give their forwards enough chance. We saw against Port, 42 inside 50s, they win the game. So, if they can get a couple more inside 50s and really penetrate through probably what is a better system than Port Adelaide's, giving themselves every chance here.
I think this is going to be a weird thing to say, but I think there's more jeopardy in this game for Collingwood than there was last week.
You say jeopardy or deputy?
Jeopardy.
Oh, jeopardy.
Deputy.
then against when they played Fremantle, I feel like
What do you mean by
this is a harder game? Just with
it's a harder game.
It's a harder game in terms of who they're facing and how both sides match up against each other. Fremantle was a harder game for different reasons. Obviously, they came off the 5-day. They had managed a few stars, but this for different reasons is tougher for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
No, I agree. I 100% agree with that. They've just got a great record against Adelaide, so of course I'll be leaning towards them. Oh, do you want to say
But the
something
biggest
else?
question:
Yes.
who wins in a fight, a crow or a magpie?
Oh.
Magpie.
If you go to Europe
know.
or England, have you seen the crows over there? Depends
Crow.
where's the crow
They're
from.
feisty.
If it's an Aussie crow, I'm going
it's gotta be
magpies
Aussie.
are scary.
Yeah,
Crow.
magpies are vicious.
Magpies are scary. As I've got chased by them a few times. It's not good.
When?
I'm no, when did you ask? No, it doesn't matter. All right, let's get into tips and margins himself before he throws me under the bus again. Tips, please. Leo, who are we going this one?
I think Pies will win this by 10 points. We talk up Adelaide, their forward line, but system for Collingwood just gets it done. It just gets it done, no question. So
I know what they're doing.
can't go against them.
Yep.
At the G.
I'm going to go Collingwood by a singular point.
Oh,
It's going to be close. It's going to be one of the games of the season.
like their last couple of minutes.
We're having a game of the season every round at this point.
No, I think every second game is the game of the season. This one will be better than the best round ever. It's just
No, there's one coming
good
up
footy.
later on, I think will be game of the season.
There we go. Pies by 5 points. I'm going to say. I'm going to continue with Marcus. I think it's going to be 5 straight games of a margin of 5 points or less, which would be absolutely crazy, but I think it could happen.
And Collingwood win them all.
And Collingwood and all, they know how to win close games. 2023, they're just. Oh, they're so annoying. They can't keep getting away with this, Leo. They can't.
done it again.
They've done it again. Bloody Collingwood. We're good on them. All right. This next one is Saturday, Arvo, 4:15 at the Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide versus Geelong, which is an interesting matchup and a bit of a tasty matchup, Leo.
I think this is a really intriguing game. The first thing to touch on, Port Adelaide.
Yes.
They build up all this energy for the showdown. Kenny gets them fired up for these big games. Their emotional come down after the showdown. Do we think they can get up for this challenge?
I'm going to say absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
They literally did the same thing against Hawks. They were like,
Well,
we're
they-
going to beat the Hawks.
So they beat Sydney the week
Yeah,
after.
but Sydney, Schmidney, they're down the bottom of the line.
Sydney.
Can't argue with that one.
Sydney,
That's just a
Sydney
stat for you.
Sweeney.
Well, yeah, that's rattled me. But you're right. I genuinely think that they just can't step up for these big games unless there's like something behind it. Is Ken going to go, we're going to go after Bailey Smith or something like that?
I think there is a little bit behind this though. The previous meeting between the two sides in finals was a big blowout.
I think
yeah,
so
true. But I just don't know if there's enough in there for that emotional side. And you're right. I think it is an emotional come down. It wouldn't be as big of an emotional come down if they won. They'd have a bit more confidence.
Yep.
Even Connor Rosie accepting the medal, it's just a weird feeling when you lose and like it's just a weird vibe. So I don't know if they can bring that against Geelong.
Yeah, and I know Port fans might not like us saying it, but they are an emotional side. They get fueled up for these big games, and I don't think I think there is, something in this game from last season, like you said.
Yep.
But it's not going to compare to the showdown. So I just want to keep an eye out on their effort and their sort of, I guess, intensity around the ball. Can it be as ferocious as it is against those big games that Kenny really gets them up for?
No, good call.
But there are plenty of question marks though around Geelong, isn't there?
100%. Thank you for that, Marcus. Geelong, well, they've had the weirdest couple of weeks. Can we actually chat about this a little bit?
I would love to.
They randomly, no offense to Olivia behind the camera, but they randomly lose to the Blues.
Yeah.
Well, they always
Carlton-
lose to the Blues for some reason.
But Carlton are they're pushing for finals, but you'd expect Geelong to win that.
Yeah.
They beat the Pies, randomly, and then they lose to the Giants at home. Are they the weirdest team in the AFL?
They are. I think, similar to what Brisbane's been doing this year, they sink to the opponent's level a little bit. That's my opinion.
Is that your theory?
That's my theory, and it's some of the big teams do that. I knew you would laugh. But genuinely, like I don't know if it's to do with in the back of their head that Giants record because they've won the last 5 there. I don't know if that has to do with it. Jeremy Cameron actually is 1-6 in the Geelong Giants matchup because he's lost a couple of the Giants and then he keeps losing as a Geelong player against the Giants as well. That's another little stat for you. But yeah, it's a very weird one, isn't it?
Yeah. So with keeping that in mind, like it's just I don't know. He's
rattled.
I'm not rattled. I was just about to say my point.
Sorry.
Thanks, mate. Oh.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, do we think that they can actually like put their foot down on this Port side?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's more on Port Adelaide's side of things than Geelong's side of things.
Geelong are just one of those teams, similarly to Collingwood, just all system. And it has been under Chris Scott for over a decade. So, of course they can rise up to this one, but there could be a couple of players that lose their heads for either side.
Yeah. Two of the most, we're talking about emotions. Leo, who's going to go head to head here?
Baz Lenker and his birdwatch at Adelaide Oval versus the Hornet and his Papa Hinkley. Papa Hinkley. Who will lose their cool more? That's a tough one.
I reckon they'll like get into Jason Horne-Francis a bit because there's been a few feisty matchups against
Horne-Francis at home. He can't lose his call more than Bailey Smith. Yeah. The crowd will be getting into Bailey Smith.
Bailey Smith will say, because Port Adelaide are known as the feistiest crowd. So I reckon there'll be something with Bailey Smith in the crowd this weekend. That's for sure.
I know, but the horny one, he always loses his head at Adelaide Oval at home.
He needs to bloody shape up, I reckon, a little bit.
He does.
He's playing at home. Why are you losing your head that much?
What are you doing? That'd be really a good one to watch. Tips and margin, lads. Marcus, who are you going?
Oh, I think this is going to be it. I know last week was close, but I'm just predicting this week to be very close as well. I'm going to go Geelong by 2 points.
We got 1 point.
Didn't you say that they're going to put their foot down and smash them?
No, I'm saying I didn't. But like if they could,
okay.
they are the team that could because they're system based.
Okay,
Leo,
I think Cats by 27. It'll be a very, I don't want to be disrespectful, but a bit of an uneventful game. I think they'll sort of have the lead throughout.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that one. I think Cats by 30. I think very similar to Leo. They'll have the lead throughout. A little bit of a weird stat that talked about it before. The underdog has actually won in Geelong's last 5 matches. So a lot of them...
So that just adds to the weirdness of Geelong.
It adds to the weirdness of Geelong. They're so up and down, but I do think they'll win as favourites in this one. Cats by 30 points.
Nice.
All right. Here we go. Another Saturday Arvo game. I just realised that.
Same time?
GWS versus Fremantle. Same time, 4:15 at NG Stadium. They're finally back at NG Stadium.
They're finally back.
Which you will touch on, Marcus.
Yeah,
we're coming home.
GWS return home after 6 weeks at 6 different stadiums.
That is wild.
Can you boys name them?
They're on the run sheet.
I probably shouldn't have done that. They played at GMHBA, the SCG, Manuka, Adelaide Oval, Norwood, and NG Stadium, where they return back this week.
It's a little lads trip around Australia.
You'd be
how good is that?
Oh, that is wild.
Would you want to be on the road
no
as us on the road, 6 different venues, recording shows?
No,
just road trip wise.
No. I would, but
no.
I reckon it'd be fun. It'll bring the team closer together.
We're already close.
Well, we can be closer.
Well.
I'm hoping the camera wasn't on. Oh no.
Well, they'll be full of confidence though after beating Geelong. And look, one that needs confidence is Toby Greene, but I think he can have a game here and get on the scoreboard heavily because Fremantle just love conceding goals to small forwards. We saw it last week against Collingwood. Jamie Elliott kicked 6 goals, won from limited entries as well.
Goals.
Bobby Hill also kicked 3 goals.
Yeah.
So I pose this question to you boys.
All right.
Are Fremantle the worst team in the competition if you compare their ability? Are the worst team in the competition if you compare their ability at kicking the ball inside 50, their entries inside 50?
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Oh, I was going to say Carlton, but they fixed it up.
Like, we're not saying West Coast or Richmond because... But Fremantle have the players to do it.
Yeah, Free have the play. Yeah, probably right.
In terms of what their output should be, yes, I'll agree with that one. It's very frustrating. Like, we've talked about this. All Freo fans, even out front of the stadium, I saw a few fan TV things. They're just getting so frustrated. They should be playing a lot better. I said this on the Sunday show. You go to Josh Trace, just lower the eyes for the big kahuna or whatever they call him down there. He's so good.
Yeah.
And he kicked 2 goals to start the game.
He's kicked 22 in 9 games this year.
But he could have kicked more,
But one that we've got to look at is Jai Miss, his partner in crime. Has he been doing enough? I don't know.
Not in the recent weeks, no.
I don't know if he is. Just having a look now, he's kicked 13 goals in 9 games. So
it's not horrible.
He's still a young player. But there are moments in games where you watch it and he drops a mark that he needs to take. He's not presenting as he should be, but we'll forgive him, I think.
He's very accurate as well. 13 goals, 5. Accurate.
Oh, accurate.
In front of goal.
He doesn't miss. He doesn't miss.
He doesn't miss. Unlike his name says. But yeah, Fremantle, we have to see an improvement from Fremantle. It's a big game for them.
No, it is. It is. Who do we think needs to step up? So you obviously got they rely on their midfield heavily, Brayshaw and Sarong.
Yeah, Hayden Young being out probably for the rest of the season, isn't he? Yeah, he had a setback or another injury. So that's a big out because he's a great ball user and we'll just seen the best of him towards the end of last season. But I feel like Brayshaw's been fantastic, I think.
Sarong's been okay.
Sarong's been okay, but Brayshaw has been the standout so far. But it's the ones around them that need to...
I think it's, Luke Ryan, Jordan Clark. They get a lot of the ball and
Jordan
they do
Clark,
a lot of switches and a lot... Get it forward and hit some targets. I think that's their big problem. And if they start clicking, can they still be good or are we just putting an X through?
They can still be good. There's plenty of time.
Plenty of time?
Plenty of time of the year.
Actually, Hawks were bad last year.
Premierships aren't won in May.
That is very true. Very wise man over there. All right, I got a bit of a stat here as well. GWS have actually won 18 of their last 19 matches at NG Stadium against teams who are on a losing streak. So when the other teams are on the way down, they're not going too well, they pounce and they get a win usually. So
interesting.
That's why I'm leaning towards GWS as my tip in this one. I'm going to go the Giants by 20 points. I think they're a much better outfit, especially at home. They'll be so fired up and excited to be back at NG Stadium.
Yeah, I think Giants by 9. I actually think this might be high scoring, this one.
Freo high scoring?
Yeah, I think so. There's just something about it, something in the water.
Okay. Yeah. Something in the water out in Western Sydney.
I'm going to go a little bit of a bigger margin. I'm going to go GWS by 5 goals.
Whoa.
30 points.
We haven't done that in a while, 5 goals.
Steer clear of the close margins.
Yeah, that's your first non-close margin, I reckon.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, Saturday night, Marvel Stadium, 7:35. Western Bulldogs taking on Essendon. Marcus is fired up for this one. This is a really, really fun game. The big question here, I'm going to start with the big question. Can the Dogs bounce back? They've actually won their last 8 at Marvel Stadium. They've won 4 of the last 6 against the Bombers. Only just lost to Gold Coast. So I definitely think they can bounce back. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think they can. I think a big thing that might go unnoticed is their fatigue late in games.
That's a good
in the
tip.
high conditions in Darwin, can they back up a full quarter performance? But I think they'll start really well. And just keep an eye on that end. But overall, yes, they'll bounce back.
No, I think so. Do you think so?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like their loss against Gold Coast wasn't a concern for me.
No.
If anything, it just shows and proved how good they have been and their resilience during games. Because whenever Gold Coast went 3-4 goals up, they claw it back.
Yep.
And you saw that towards the end of the game as well in particular. So no concerns for the Dogs for me. They'll definitely bounce back.
No, I agree. And then on the Essendon side, they've won 5 of the last 6. I think Kane Corns was talking them up towards finals. A few other people.
To be the next Hawthorn.
That was next year, not this year.
Oh, next year, sorry. But
I
anyway.
thought you said for this year to be the next Hawthorn.
No.
Oh, never mind.
Anyway, they've won 5 of the last 6, but the worry is there haven't been anyone above 13th. So they're getting over the line. As an Essendon fan, I would still be happy. I've been to a few Essendon games. I've heard how you reacted after games. You feel like a loss sometimes. But the fact that you're getting wins and you've got some young guys coming through that are awesome as an Essendon fan, you're still happy. You're still winning.
We're still winning. That's a good sign, at least, to not sort of play well and win. But second halves is such a big concern. Scored 20 points in the second half against Sydney. Against North Melbourne, only kicked 2 goals in the second half. And look, at times it's like I was with you. I didn't even want to sing the song after the game. I didn't want to celebrate. But Sydney was a little bit different. Heart rate was up to 152 towards the end of the game, after the game against Sydney.
You passed out.
It was tense.
Yep.
But look, I don't think it'll be as close this game. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, the second half point is interesting because I just touched on Dogs maybe having a weak second half because of their fatigue maybe settling in from last week.
Bombers as well, yeah.
It's a good
Bombers.
chance for Essendon actually maybe pounce on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I hope so.
Yeah, we've talked about the improvement of Ed Richards, Matt Kennedy, but then on the Bombers side, it's good to see the young guys coming through. Nate Caddy, you got Saad Al-Huli, he's been really good the last, I'd say, 2 weeks. Who else? Got Zach Reed.
Zach Reed.
He's been one of the best backmen in the last 3 weeks as
Read
well.
all about it.
He's there we go. Great work, Leo. The other one that I wanted to finish on is the tag. So you got Bont versus Merritt. That's going to be a really fun matchup. Two of the best players I'd say top 5 players in the competition going head to head. And then you've got, does Durham tag Bont? Now, before you answer that question, Bont averages his least disposals against Essendon than any other team, which is 21 disposals because of Durham the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 matchups, which surprises me because it doesn't, height-wise, body-wise, it's not the best matchup, but Durham does pretty well.
Yeah, Durham just runs around and he goes hard. I think that's
dog.
But Bontempelli can have 20 disposals or 21 disposals in this game and kick 3 or 4 goals. That's just the type of player he is.
Yeah.
But I don't think... Do the Dogs tag? Do the Dogs tag?
They don't have a tagger.
No, they don't usually. I think Libba will run with Merritt because he's a beast at tackling.
It's not a tagging role.
But I just think it'll be a good matchup and then they don't have to worry about tagging because Libba's actually good at running both ways compared to some other Dogs players.
Yep.
But I don't think they'll tag. But I reckon Durham, because of that, even that stat line, they'll be like, Bont just doesn't have as much influence when we put Durham on him, so we might as well leave him there.
Yeah, it'd be smart from Scott to do that.
Yeah, Durham never tags unless it's against Bontempelli.
Yeah,
which
you said
really
that the other
random.
week.
Yeah.
That is wild. All right, tips and margin now. There's some big margins here, but we'll get into it. Leo, what do you reckon?
Dogs by 23. I think they'll start, as I said, really strong. Maybe the margin at halftime will be greater than what it is at full time.
Okay, there we go. Marcus?
I'm not so optimistic for my side. I think the Dogs by 40 points.
Oh, it's weird.
Whoa.
I'm very similar. Dogs by 45. It's weird saying this for a team that's won 5 of the last 6. I feel like it's disrespectful, but they haven't beaten anyone in the Dogs' caliber. 13th and below they've beaten. Dogs are 6th on the ladder. I think the Dogs at Marvel, they've won their last 8. They're going to run over them. And actually, I didn't mention as well that they're the 3rd best offense and the Bombers are 15th on offense. So I think the Dogs can kick a big score and Essendon, a bit worried about them.
Yep.
So there we go. All right, Sunday fun day, as Leo likes to say. Here we go. Richmond versus North Melbourne. I am so nervous, but bit confident. I don't know how to explain it. All in one. I'm going to say that. Sunday, 1:10 at the MCG. And North Melbourne plays there once or twice a year, so this is very weird. Leo, this is your game, and I'm shaking in my boots already.
The game of the round, you forgot to add.
This
This is a great game.
To be fair, Richmond West Coast was a fun game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, just I want to give a weekly reminder. North have not won a first quarter this season.
Oh, why'd you have to? That's
because I'm saying it. I think this game is decided at quarter time. I think if Richmond jump you, I think Richmond win. I think if you're in the game, North win. North don't need to be leading at quarter time. They don't. They just need to be close.
What's the quarter timeline for North?
Like, what do you mean? Like,
how close do they have to be?
I think within a goal.
Okay.
Genuinely, because
I
it's just
want
one
us
of those
to be up
ones.
by a few goals.
It's one of those ones where you could come back, but
Not by a
Richmond,
big margin.
If you're back by 2 goals even, you come back and then I don't know, like you can never make that next step like you did against Essendon.
I know what you're saying because Richmond, they did it. They've done it well in their couple of wins. They are really good on the counter attack. So the team will have all the play. They'll hold down solidly, like okay defensively, and then Seth Campbell and Mansell and a few guys on the counter attack are so good.
100%.
So that's what I'm worried about as a North fan, that we could have all the play,
all the
Richmond out the
clearances,
back.
and then,
So anyway.
Are they playing Brexit football?
Brexit.
You could say they're
Brexit
playing
football.
Brexit football in the AFL terms.
Richmond playing Brexit football. I really like that.
That is what I did not think we were going to get there.
Gonna get a few slide tackles. Send him off.
Studs up.
Send him off.
Oh yeah, Noah Bolton might do a slide tackle.
Yeah. They should recruit Toby Greene. Studs up.
Studs up. Yeah, he hasn't done that in a while.
I don't mind that. Do North have to smash Richmond?
Oh,
Because I think you guys have some strong thoughts about it.
This is tough. I don't
Do
want
they
to say
have
this
to
and then we
smash it?
lose, but
No,
genuinely as a North,
will you? Do you have to smash him?
no, I say, all right, we don't have to.
Okay.
I think we can. We don't have to. I think we just have to win. We don't know how to
agree.
win. We should have beaten Brisbane. We probably should have beaten Essendon. I don't think we should have beaten Port, but we should have been a bit closer and gotten a bit closer in that game. I just think North need a win just to get the fans, the players, the coaches, just to get a bit of breath of fresh air in the place because it's
Agreed.
just need a win.
I think you have to win by at least 4 goals.
Oh,
Why? They just need.
I think you do.
I don't care if I'm singing the song and we might. I don't care.
But like the worst thing is that we've seen so much good from North Melbourne in the past 3 weeks with Essendon, Port and Brisbane. This is where we need to say, look, this is where the consistency is. If they're inconsistent but win this game by a kick, have they really improved? Like, have they really improved and shown something?
They just need a winning feeling. They just need a winning feeling.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
To help with that winning feeling, Larky versus Lynch.
This shouldn't even be a debate, but Larky's
It's
been
not
out
a
of
debate.
form.
It's just I think both need to live for their sides to
I
win
agree.
this game.
Yeah.
Lynch playing on Comben, who was really good last week, and Larky needing to kick some important goals. Can he actually step up and do it? So a little bit of a watch for me.
Yeah, I think Larky should very rarely, even though we're playing bad, should very rarely have 1 goal games. His minimum has to be 2, and he's missed some easy shots. So I think he needs to step up here.
Yeah, 100%.
There we go. Tips and margin, lads. I'll start with Leo because he's a bit on the fence here, but he'll give us a tip.
I really don't know what's going to happen in this game. I'm going to tip North, but I just want to float that this could be a draw.
He's covering all bases. I'm
I'm not saying Richmond's going to win.
Why don't you just tip the draw on the show?
Okay, I'll tip the draw.
Oh, bang.
I can just, it's written in the stars for
We
North.
get- he gets
It's
2
written
draws in
in
a
the
row.
stars for North that this is a draw.
Oh,
He gets
I'll be in
5. He
team.
gets 5 points if it's a draw.
5 points of what?
Look, to our tipping results.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If we even added them up, we did add them up. But yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I said North have to win by 4 goals, and that's exactly what I'm going to go. 4 goals.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. I genuinely think we can, but I'm going to say 15 points. I think, like I said before, I think North will have a lot of the play, a lot of the clearances, a lot of the inside 50s, but we still haven't figured out how to play good footy. So I don't care who's it against. It's going to be close, and that's why I'm going to go 15 points. I reckon Richmond might make I reckon we could get up by 4 goals. Richmond make a bit of a late comeback. They're pretty fast and speedy, but North by 15 points. And I very rarely tip us, so please win. I'll be at the G. You'll be at the G, actually.
I'm going. I'm a North fan.
Oh, please. If we have a draw, I'd rather lose. I don't want 2 draws in a line.
I can just see it happening.
Oh, I'll be filthy with that. All right, next game on Sunday, 3:20 at the Gabba. Brisbane versus Melbourne. Brisbane obviously coming off that draw, and Melbourne, they'll be desperate for another bounce back here. First question, we like the big questions on here. Will Clary tag again and go to Lockie Neal? So, Leo, you talked up Clary. I didn't even notice it that much, and after the game, we sort of delved deeper into that. But Clary was a solid tagger last week.
Yeah, I think he did a great job, and I think he'll try and do it again. Neil's obviously a better player than Newcomb, so we'll see how he'll go. And then the other one was Dunkley to Petrarca. Do we think he'll play a little bit of a negating role? So
He's done that in the past. Yeah, really
It
fun
is.
matchups.
It is. Dunkley is one of the best tacklers, and you're looking at one of the best at evading tackles is Christian Petrarca.
true.
So that could be the matchup. Yeah, likely to go there.
Yeah, and then if Clary goes to Neal or Dunkley goes to Petrarca, what's the stat? That's what I was going to ask you guys. What is the stat line that we think? Like, is it Neal under 20, 25? Is it Petrarca not hitting the scoreboard? I think Petrarca is most damaging when he hits the scoreboard.
Yeah.
So I'd be worried about him on that half forward line, personally.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think the stat line for Neil would be to keep him under 25, I think.
Okay,
And
we might
with,
have to watch that then, yeah.
with Petrarca, I think it's more impact-based. Like,
Yeah.
if you watch a Melbourne game, you notice Petrarca. If you don't notice him, credit to Dunkley.
And look, the difference here is if Dunkley goes to Petrarca, locks him down a little bit, Oliver's got to keep his hands busy keeping up with Neil. But then who goes
gets
to the
the
other
clearance?
Brisbane midfielders?
True.
Got McCluggage. for Brisbane.
And does Melbourne have enough like firepower to get clearances
Yeah.
without Clary?
Yeah.
Did you notice that in the Hawks game? They actually were
No,
pretty
they
good.
did, yeah. Because we didn't tag. That's why I think
Yeah.
if Brisbane tag Petrarca, it's really down to Cozzy when he's in a centre bounce or
Yeah,
you know,
true.
Jack Viney, Tom Sparrow, these guys. So I think Brisbane have more depth in that area.
Yep, good call. Brisbane as well. They're just getting over the line this year in some of their games. A few fans probably a bit worried about that draw. I'm not too worried. I think they're not peaking early. A lot of teams like they did when they won the flag, they're just building and they just know how to get over the line. We said last week, go on to Hobart. They're really up for a game down in Hobart. And they've actually had close games against some of the lower teams. They've had close games against Sydney, West Coast, Richmond, and North, which when you look at it just like that, it's like, oh, that's a bit of a worry. But they haven't lost any of those games, and they're getting over the line. That's the sign of a premiership team when you're not playing it at your best and you're still getting a win. So, do you think Brisbane fans shouldn't be worried at this stage of the season, even though they just drew to North? Because that was a big shock.
I think give it until the bye. They've got to improve until the bye and then play the best football after the bye. And then if they're not, that's when you're worried.
Yeah, I'm not worried about this. I think the Lions win comfortably. I think they win by 33 points.
33. We're going to the
33.
tips. Very, very nice. All right. Well, yeah, we can do the tips. Why not? Leo, what's your tip in this one then?
Lions by 41. I think they'll be
41.
angry after last week.
Oh, I'm going to go Lions by 30. I'll start chucking a little thing I was going to ask as well. Fritsch, that I think if he plays, I might even put Lions by more. I'm really worried about Bailey Fritsch. He's been so good. He had years where he kicked 50 goals. He's kicked 7 goals in 8 games. He's on track for his worst season since his debut season in 2018. So do we think he should be dropped? And I think that's why part of the reason I'm leaning towards Brisbane. They just don't have goal kickers, Melbourne.
I'd keep him in at the moment.
I'd keep him in at the moment too.
Yes.
He just needs one game for a bit of confidence, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe one come against Brisbane though.
Yeah, but we're all tipping the Lions by 30 points or more. There we go.
Comfortably there.
At the Gabba. All right, here we go. Sunday, the last game, 4:40 at Optus Stadium. West Coast St Kilda, which is actually dividing a few of us, which we'll touch on. Marcus, this is your one.
Yeah, well, we're saving the best game of the round till last, aren't we?
We've said that.
So
That's right. We're saving the best game.
is this the game where West Coast grabbed their first win of the season?
No.
No, you don't think so? Well, a big reason
spoiler
I think they could grab the win is if we got to keep an eye on their back line and see if Jerry McGovern plays or not.
Yep,
I think if he does play, I think they're a very, very good chance of getting a win here, actually. And if he doesn't, I still think they got a chance, but it will be quite a lot tougher. But look, can the Saints be aggressive compared to last week? This is against Carlton at the G. I don't know why they went in their shell.
They went right into their shell, didn't they?
When they made the finals a few years ago, they were just playing attacking footy. They were darting around everywhere. Everyone's running. They're thinking attack first, and then Ross Lyon brought them back. Guys, we need to play a bit of defense. That's what you were saying.
Which played into Carlton's hands last week.
If McGovern's back, it'll play into his hands 100%. They got to put some speed on the ball. Got to play on from marks, find the uncontested marks. How they love to play St Kilda. They have to come out and be aggressive.
But you were reading an article last week, Statsman, that you don't think McGovern's going to be fit enough to play this game?
I think it was Schofield and a few of the other sort of Western Australian podcasters and things like that. We're all saying that his concussion is a lot worse than they thought. So he might not be back. I really liked Sandy Brock. I don't know if you guys saw it. First half he was very poor and he's a young guy. He's only played a couple of games. But the second half he was really good. He took a lot of intercept marks. But compared to McGovern, it's just such a big hole. I do like some of the young guys. Gross came on and actually as the sub and he was really good, which was really surprising. Yeah. But you just need that leadership because even Tim Kelly's dropped. A few of their leaders haven't been at their best. Oscar Allen obviously hasn't been at his best and things like that. So McGovern, without him, I think they're absolutely cooked. And the Saints, they're not that bad. Leo, you've talked them up all year.
They're good.
If they play that attacking game style, if Ross lets them off the chain,
top 4.
Not top 4. They'll win this game.
Well, they do have a good record at Optus Stadium, don't they?
They do. They've won their last 4 at Optus Stadium. That's why I'm leaning towards them. I can't believe people are tipping West Coast. They lost to Richmond. No way are they winning this game.
Yeah, but you could lose to Richmond.
Yeah, I know.
MCG
We're
this
crap.
week.
We're crap. Saints are at least 3 or 4 wins better than us.
Are
West
they?
Coast.
Are they? I don't think they are.
Don't worry.
No, I know. Sorry, I know what you're saying, but.
I'd have you and St Kilda on a similar sort of pedestal.
That's so disrespectful to St Kilda and me.
Not you. I think actual St Kilda.
I don't think there's that much of a gap between St Kilda and North Melbourne. Is that crazy to say?
I think that's crazy to say.
Okay.
There's a couple of wins at the moment as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a bit crazy for tipping West Coast then.
So what's your margin here? West Coast by what?
I think it's going to be a close game. Either side of the coin. Even if St Kilda do win, I still think it'll be close. But I'm going to go West Coast at 7 points. I'm just always fearful of them at Optus Stadium. I don't know what it is about them.
They keep it closer.
Maybe
that's
it's
true.
They keep it close. Maybe it's just maybe
when they go over there, make it a bit dicey.
Yeah.
There we go.
Saints by 13.
13.
Let's be serious.
I agree. Let's
be serious. 3 goal swing.
Let's be serious from the guy that's tipped Saints almost every week. Saints by 25 points. They're a much better side than West Coast. I don't care if it's at Optus Stadium. They've got a good record there, and I'm backing the Saints. And I think after this week, if the Saints lose, I'm not tipping them for the rest of the year because they've cost me a few tips, the Saints. They better win this week. And I think they will comfortably. Yep. All right. That's all the games wrapped. What a round. This could be one of the best rounds ever, as we've said a few times. Let's get into the lock of the week and big calls, lads. So, locks. Get into it, please, Leah, first. What's your lock of the week?
Last week, I did Brisbane leading against North at quarter time. Who are North playing this week? Richmond. They'll be leading at quarter time. North have not won a first quarter. I'm going to ride with that until it doesn't happen.
It might happen for the rest of the year.
That's why I'm going to keep doing it.
That's a lock. Marcus?
Gold Coast winning Darwin.
That's a good one.
They won the last 7 there. Make it 8.
I'm going to say my lock is the Dogs bounce back. They get a win over Essendon.
Got some good locks, I reckon.
They're so much better than Essendon, and at Marvel, they've won the last 8 there. So get around the Dogs. All right. Can we get... Actually, maybe we should have I'll get into this on the socials possibly, but maybe we should have a forfeit if your lock doesn't get up, because the lock should be your certainty.
The lock is a lock.
And now Leo's worried this week because he's done Richmond versus North.
Yep, that's
the lock is a lock for a reason.
Or we can workshop that.
We can workshop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do this week. All right. Big call, lads. We're going to get some big calls this week. I can feel the energy in the room.
I'm confused here. What Leo has just got Bam Bam in the run sheet.
What the hell is
what
that?
does that mean?
I actually don't know what that is.
Bam Bam. Matthew Kennedy. Isn't that his nickname?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
There we
a
go.
little
It
bit more
is.
context. Big call, Matthew Kennedy.
Big call. Bam Bam gets 25 disposals, 6+ clearances, and a goal against the Bombers. And yeah, just Bam Bam. Thank you, Zach Merritt.
Thank you, ma'am. That's what he just said. Bam Bam, thank you, ma'am. Daniel Rich used to be called Bam Bam as well. Yeah. He actually looks more like Bam Bam because he has the blonde locks. You
Okay,
know,
cool.
why is Matt? I'm confused why Matt Kennedy's called that, but I rate it anyway. What's your big call, Marcus?
We talked about two of the emotional players in the Port and Geelong game, and I think they're going to be very emotional and get in a scrap with each other. So,
Who?
Jason Horne-Francis and Bailey Smith will get in a punch on.
Not even
No, they'll get in a
jumper
scrap.
punch?
They'll jump a punch.
All
They'll
right.
get in a scrap. Modern AFL punch on.
Is this a big call?
Yes.
I don't know.
Two emotional
Yes.
players argue with each other.
Leo,
Two
Most-
specific players to get in a
the most
scrap.
emotional players in the game fight each other.
Two players to get in a scrap one-on-one with each other. You're telling me that's not
It's
a big call?
gonna happen. He did
I
it.
think that's a big call. I think you're being harsh.
I'll allow it, but you're
Let us know
on
in the
thin
comments.
ice, buddy. You're on thin ice.
Let us know in the comments. I think that's a big call.
I don't think that.
Yeah, let us know in
It's
the
gonna
comments.
happen.
And my big call, lads. You talked up Toby Greene before. That Freo just a horrible
Uncle
against small
Toby.
forward. Uncle Toby. 4+ goals and 15+ disposals. I wanted to get
He's done it. He's done it.
I wanted to get 4+ goals, but Leo wanted me to get the disposals in there as well. I think if he gets 4+
By the way,
goals,
you didn't need to add the disposals. I was the only one that said to add it. Everyone else in the office said you don't need to add
but
it.
you're putting up on the socials. I respect your word. I respect your
thanks.
word.
Is Uncle Toby going to produce a oats or a goats performance
Oh my
on the weekend? Let's have a look.
I'm pretty. That is
That will
Leo
do us
approve.
today for
Do you
AFL
approve?
Today. I did improve. That was good.
You're not approving that one. That is outrageous. That will definitely do us for AFL Today. If you enjoyed today's episode, not the end there, that was disgraceful. Make sure you subscribe to AFL Today on YouTube and follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for more footy content all season long. Subscribe, star, and like all of our shows on your podcast apps. That's Cricket Today, AFLW Today, Hold All Tickets, True Bloods, and Honest Beers. Thank you very much to Olivia and Joel behind the camera. Thank you very much to Leo.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Marcus.
Cheers, that was a good one.
That's a goat.
No.
Zach
Merritt.
Merritt. Zach Merritt. There we go. We'll see you on Sunday to wrap up all things round 10. We'll see you then on AFL Today.